I'm sussing on you. My beef with them. In today's one, we're reacting to Post Malone, a great singer, songwriter, and he's giving some free game to young musicians that are just starting out. So let's actually hear what my boy Post Malone actually has to say.
A lot of it, like growing up, was in my early teens and everything was Thug and like Rocky and George Strait, Hank Sr., Allen, Megadeth, Metallica, Anthrax.
Yeah.
Just everything, dude.
Oh, yeah. You're
and
a
even
kid.
a little dubstep.
Yeah.
I don't listen to dubstep now, but I did. Like a little Flux Pavilion just to pepper it.
Wow, bro.
But dude, there's so much fucking cool shit going on and that's the problem too. Like I remember like SoundCloud just first started and I was maybe one of the first artists to really like blow up strictly on SoundCloud.
Really? I didn't even know that.
SoundCloud, I think it was like 2013. SoundCloud was going, and I think I can't remember it.
Now, guys, one thing I would say is that Post Malone is versatile for a reason. When you're growing up with those different musical influences behind you and you're hearing maybe hip-hop one day, then dubstep the next, etc., it's no wonder why he's become the artist that he's actually become. Do you know what I mean? So it's just testament to when you're growing up and you're able to have that large musical palette, you're at such an advantage over people that maybe is later on in life that just decide to just pick up and do music. Do you know what I mean? But you can still kind of train your ear and then challenge yourself. Even to this day, when I have conversations with, great musicians or songwriters, etc., they literally force themselves to listen to stuff outside of their main genre because it expands, again, the sound palette. It makes them think, feel, come up with new ideas, be in different mind states, etc., when they're creating the music. So that's the reason why it comes natural to Post Malone. It doesn't mean that you can't necessarily pick up that skill. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I don't listen to dubstep now, but I did. Like a little Flux Pavilion just to pepper it. Like SoundCloud just first started. And I was maybe one of the first artists to really like blow up strictly on SoundCloud.
Really? I didn't even know that.
SoundCloud, I think it was like 2013. SoundCloud was going, and I think I can't remember anything. I have such a Dory brain. But yeah, and it's so hard now, I feel like, for new artists because of the volume of music that's getting put out, which is a fucking amazing thing. Oh, 2007, I was way off.
But that's when it started.
It was really popping.
Right.
Really
Things that start, that means they open their doors.
Yes, sir.
Probably took 5 years to get going.
When did SoundCloud really start popping?
2017.
Like in 2017. Look at that. Chance the Rapper, Post Malone, Odd Future.
Oh, you're on that list.
Yeah, see,
I remember those days as well. It used to be a case where SoundCloud is where a lot of artists actually got their first, a lot of artists is popping right now. That's where they got their first, taste of fame. Because I remember another example of that is, Travis Scott blew up from SoundCloud initially. You also had people like Tory. I also had people like, of course, even Future, Chance the Rapper is another example. Like even Chief Keef. That's crazy. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of people, Playboy Carti was another person as well. And people like Lil Yachty, etc. It's all the people with like the little behind their name. You know what I mean? They got a lot of clout from SoundCloud. So it's good, man. I remember that time where, I'll be coming home from school, etc. and just be listening to bare stuff on SoundCloud, man. I can't lie. That was the platform because back then you couldn't afford Spotify. Like, I remember even paying for streaming services back then. We're thinking like, no, we're not going to do it. We either go to YouTube, rip it off the internet. We listen to it on our iPhone. I think it was like 4 or 5 back then, or your iPod. Do you know what I mean? Or you're going to SoundCloud because it's free kind of vibe. So yeah, man, that was before everyone got rich enough to start affording things like Spotify and the Apple Music. You know what I'm saying?
On the list out of 3.
There you go.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's super cool, man.
But yeah, it's hard now, like to get discovered, especially. Well, it's either easier or real hard because you can do something that really just tricks the algorithm and saying like people get like viral, super viral moments. But songs don't have to be viral to be awesome. And we miss out, I feel like, on so many so many talented people that never trick the algorithm. That never get the algorithm going for them, but they're fucking killer. And that's like the hard part is the volume of stuff. And I'm a big advocate. Like the first recording software
before you go into the recording software, the issue that I have with musicians when they say, okay, it's hard for people right now, etc. It's just the fact that they also benefited from the changes, you know what I mean? If we were to listen to an old head that was around in maybe the 80s or the 90s, they're gonna say, oh, the kids from people from the 80s, the kids in the 90s, they have it so much better now, so much worse than us. If you listen from the people from the 90s talking about the 2000s, they will say the exact same thing about the the future generation. So Post Malone was part of the 2010s generation, obviously still benefiting from, you know, the early wave of being on the internet and SoundCloud, etc. So it's kind of ironic that he's saying that, but I do understand where he's coming from at the same time, where he's saying like the volume of stuff is incredible. But even from back then, I believe they were saying like millions of songs get released to Spotify every single year, and only a certain percentage of that actually even get monetized, let alone make like $1,000 or even $10,000 or pounds. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of ironic when he said that. I was a bit like, but you benefited from that as well. And outside of that as well, he also benefited from the algorithm, because even SoundCloud back then is based on an algorithm. If more people are listening to your stuff, yes, because it's great music as well, don't get twisted, but if more people are listening to your stuff, then naturally SoundCloud was putting it in, I believe, like the top ranks, people to listen to, the hot listeners. There was like ranks that they were doing back then even as well. So that's how I even found out about Travis Scott, because when I was home from like America, one trip, I remember I kept on seeing Travis Scott's name. I didn't know who he was back then. Like that anyways. I heard maybe one or two things, but I wasn't an invested fan kind of vibe. So I saw Travis Scott's name, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing something like Antidote. When I heard Antidote for the first time, bro, between me and you, I listened to that song back to back to back to back to back from Florida all the way to the UK, non-stop. Like, I was invested in that tune. Another one was, of course, Post Malone with White Iverson. Like, when he released that, I didn't know who Post Malone was before, do you know what I mean? When I saw it on SoundCloud first, then of course I saw it on YouTube. I see like a white guy that's able to sing on like a crazy trap beat, and then of course he's wearing like plaits. He's referring to Iverson, all this type of stuff. Like, he benefited from it, do you know what I mean? So it's kind of unfair to kind of downplay something that you benefited from. Like, I'm just speaking on Angel's Advocate, because we don't represent the devil around there, do you know what I mean? But on the other, like speaking on someone that is opposing his view, it's kind of unfair what he's saying. But outside of that, I do also agree that it is harder nowadays, especially if you're not willing to go outside of the box and, you know, get people to listen to your stuff because of your marketing, etc.
I think making music should be as cheap as it possibly can, and you can get your ideas out. Like, I use a free recording software. I had a $200 guitar. I had a $100 mic, and I would sit in my room and fucking make these songs. I love that concept. But it's hard now because like I said, it's so fast, and songs are viral for a couple days, and then like you don't hear much after that. You know what I mean? And that's
right.
like,
or a trend comes through and takes.
But
it.
that's what people are like. Let's make something that goes viral. I want people to fucking express themselves the way that it is. And if you work super fucking hard and you go, like, I'm the luckiest dude in the world. I went viral. Like, that White Iverson went viral. And that was because of Fat Man Key, and he's fucking amazing. Amazing.
But you also feel like you were sharing yourself honestly.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So, you see, everything that I said, like, he also went viral, do you know what I mean? Like, this is something that people have been doing for the past however long, do you know what I mean? Since the beginning. It's all about making songs that's going to connect with a larger audience, because that's where the fame is, and that's when people perceive the bag is as well, do you know what I mean? So I'm happy that he was able to admit that, he benefited from it as well, kind of vibe. But I do agree when he says that music, in terms of creating it, should be cheap as chips, because if that wasn't the case, we wouldn't have the music that we have right now. And there's a lot of examples of people that actually started off in their bedroom. Like, majority of the modern artists, that's where they started off. You know, Pink Panthers in the UK is an example. Another example is Calvin Harris. Like, I remember, I'm a big Calvin Harris fan, right? He made that first entire EP where he was singing himself. Like, he made that entire album, in his bedroom, if I'm not mistaken. Like, he recorded everything himself, produced everything himself, etc. Disclosure is another example of people that literally, I think they even use all Logic stock plugins to mix down the first album that actually made them blow up. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of cheap equipment, I definitely believe everyone should be able to create music in a more affordable way. In terms of the ability to now promote it, people need to go the extra mile to promote it because there's always been noise. Back then, when labels were dictating everything, you also have to realize that these labels would literally only release the people that they believed were actually going to capture, again, the audience. So you would have thousands and thousands and thousands of people wanting to make music and get signed to a record label. Only a few would make it. It's the same thing right now. The only thing that's changed is the access to create the music and distribute the music. But it will always be the people that are going to go above and beyond to promote that's going to make it. Do you know what I mean? So
Absolutely. And that's like, and I think there's so many artists out there that I want to do something in the future where like Audacity, that free recording program, is the most amazing thing of all. It's free.
That's the only editor I know how to use, dude.
It's amazing.
If our shit's bonk in the middle of that, I'll be up on Audacity.
It's free, and it has been free.
Thank you, Audacity. I didn't even...
Dude, fuck yeah.
Thank you, Audacity.
Isn't that fucking
It really was
sick?
cool. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I never even thought to thank them. Because, yeah, I'd be up in the middle of the night, a podcast episode, something be wrong.
Yeah.
Like, we got to fix it. Boom, I'll use Audacity, you know?
Yeah, me personally, I didn't use Audacity. I went from, it was Cubase to Studio One to Logic. And I stayed on Logic for years and years and years. Then I went on to FL to produce beats. Then, yeah, now I just balance Logic and FL, do you know what I mean? Obviously, back then, everyone just rips things like Logic and FL from the internet, do you know what I mean? And I feel no way about saying that because everyone does it kind of vibe. I'm not condoning it though because now I purchased them, do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, shout out to all of those platforms. But in terms of artists having access to music, I definitely believe it's something that they should do. I always advise people, bearing in mind I'm a mixing engineer and also a producer, so I'm incentivized to get people to, for example, come to my studio and pay me for things. But I just say to people, look, there's no point in wasting your hard-earned money if you're just going to come to the studio for maybe 6 hours and only use 2 of them because the rest of them maybe you're writing a bit too much. And maybe they're beginner artists as well. If you're like more experienced and you need a studio to be in a creative bag and you need me to help coach you and then of course, completely fine. But if you're a beginner, you need to put in those 10,000 hours on free platforms. I believe BandLab is free, bro. Like, I'm this close to actually start posting tutorials on how to mix and how to record yourself, etc. Because I just believe everyone should be able to do it from their crib, bro. Then you should then send the demos that you're done with to mix engineers or producers to help touch it up. And it's more of a collaboration experience. We're going to get great music that way. Another thing Post Malone said that I agree with is that you shouldn't aim to go viral. You should aim to make music that connects through your story and is also going to connect through your fans' story. But when it comes to the marketing, that's always my brand message. Like, you got to push your stuff. You got to believe in it. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'd say. But other than that, you guys make sure to watch the rest of this interview. You need to learn from the greats. Like, they're greats for a reason. He's one of the biggest artists in the world for a reason. He's talented as F. Do you get what I'm saying? You can learn your musicality from him. In terms of the marketing though, and you could say more business advice, I wouldn't always listen to everything that creatives say because sometimes us as creatives, we don't know. Do you know what I mean? That's the reason why I stand in the gap between the business lot, the marketers, the people that are a bit more logical in terms of their thinking and making money in this game, and the creatives that us men are always in our emotions and expressing and I try to stand in the middle and try to push a message that will resonate with the creators but also make sense in terms of how can we actually access the same leverage, the same money, the same audience that these guys over here, the business guys, are accessing. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, guys, comment down below if you want me to actually start posting tutorials on how to record yourself in BandLab and stuff like that, because I don't mind doing it. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.